Hi, I'm Gary Burley with Cooking with the Pros. Welcome. I know everybody had a great time watching the Super Bowl yesterday, and we're going to follow up a little bit from some of my former teammates that played in that actual game. But today, we have the honor and the pleasure of having Lenard Brown, icon in the music industry with his group, The Controllers, but now he has a nationally syndicated radio show, Inside the Juke Joint, on Saturday, 8 to 12. Lenard, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very good, my brother. How you feel today?
Good
to see you too, man, always.
We got so much stuff to get into, man. Let's just jump right into it.
No problem, go ahead.
Bessemer, Fairfield.
Bessemer, Fairfield.
Which one was it from?
We started in Fairfield. We started in Fairfield, and we moved down to a small record company called Warner Records.
Warner Records?
Warner, not Warner.
Okay.
Warner Records in Bessemer. The president of that company was Frederick Knight, who was famous for Anita, not Anita Baker, but Anita, I can't think of her name, but anyway.
Anita.
Ring my bell. Ring my bell. Anita Ward, exactly. Mm-hmm. And from there we moved down to Miami, where we were with TK Records, and that was the beginning of it all. But our very first hit record, the very first hit record was called People Want Music.
Okay.
And a lot of people think it was called Somebody's Gotta Win, but Somebody's Gotta Win came on down the line a little further. But the first one was called People Want Music.
Well, you know about our youth program, Pro Start Academy, and a lot of the kids want to get into the music industry. Would you share us a little bit about success didn't come overnight? How it all started with you guys?
Definitely did not come overnight. Overnight, please. No, it's a hard job. It's a hard transition, and basically it comes from desiring and having the desire to do it. Because a lot of people want to do it, but they don't have the fortitude to maintain in it. And it's all about rehearsing and doing various things, finding the right song. Basically, in the music industry, a lot of people think it's about the show, but first and foremost, it's about finding the proper song and then being produced correctly. As you know, it's always about that song. As you know, it's your brother Manny who writes millions platinum record songs all the time. But it's always about that and finding a proper management, and then finding a record company, I think, that will work with you, and I mean that would work with you, not just put your record out,
right,
but kind of stay with you through the whole process, because it's a long, tedious process. And I would like to just say to any youngster out there that actually just wants to be in the music industry, to first find out exactly what music you want to record, so you don't be all over the place. A lot of guys want to do gospel and they want to mix it all up, which is also fine, but in some situations it's confusing. So the thing is to find out the direction you want to go in, then find the songs, and then from that, you go through all of the other stuff that's necessary to be in this business.
Well, I tell you what, I want to piggyback on to that, because back in 1977, I met L.A. Reid, and I was telling you the story about that.
Right.
But we sat on my back porch, and L.A. told me everything that he was going to do in the industry. But the first thing that he said that made so much sense is, I want to learn the business.
The business is
the business of music. That's why they call it the music business.
And that word is, the business is much longer than music. I tell anybody in the New York Minute, that word is much longer than music. So in our view, it's 95% business and 5% show, because you're only on stage for an hour, or if you're doing a television show, for instance, you're only on there for maybe 5 minutes. But it takes a year or two to get that song right, to be able to be on there for 5 minutes or on there for an hour. So it's definitely the business first.
And the other part about that, if you don't do the business right in the beginning, 20 years from now, you're going to regret it.
Oh yeah, you're going to be poor and broke and starving and and wondering what happened to all the money. Even if they give you a Cadillac, it's going to be broke down somewhere.
And you're paying for it anyway.
And you're paying for it.
It's like our groups used to have this thing where, they back in the day, they had the budgets and stuff.
Right,
and
exactly.
I told the guys, I said, look, man, don't spend all this money.
That's right.
Because this is coming out of your residuals.
Coming right out.
And, the videos and all this other stuff that you're doing, you're tearing up hotel rooms and all this kind of stuff, it's coming out of your pay on the back end.
Every limousine, every little tape, or any CD that you get just to practice on, As a matter of fact, a CD that you just, from a record company standpoint, they're going to charge you maybe $8 to $10 for that one CD when you could buy a pack of CDs. But they're going to charge you every single thing that you do is charged back to you.
Exactly.
You know, I've seen a lot of people records who was shipped gold and platinum, but the returns, a lot of times people don't understand the returns. I mean, in other words, how many records come back to the record company. And sometimes it's a lot of them. I don't want to call any names on a lot of guys whose albums were shipped platinum, and they were, you know, they ended up on the record company money. When they went to get their check, it was like, what check?
We paid you.
And not only that, you owe us. Let me show you where you owe us. That's right.
Did you bring your checkbook?
Did you bring your checkbook? Exactly.
Well, Lenard, let me tell you, man, I was amazed when, you know, I got to Birmingham, was it 4 or 5 years ago?
Right.
And I just happened to tune into your radio show, and some of the guests that you were interviewing, I really didn't pay attention to the controllers because I never heard of them. I didn't know about it. And then when you start going into the history of the group, man, I'm going like, wow.
Yeah, we've done a lot of things. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of people, our close friends as well as friends and family, just found out the other day that we had been on Soul Train. And
I just found out.
We had been on Soul Train 5 times, and no one knew. I mean, my closest friends, some of my closest friends didn't know. On HBO, Cinemax, MTV before. Even Michael was on. A lot of times we were on MTV because we were doing a lot of MTV parties down on the beach, the same way they're doing it now. But it just, the girls weren't as but but as they are today. Right, but back then it was a little bit more tame than it is today.
Let's talk about your hits and when you guys knew when it was a hit before it even got out.
Okay. Well, I would start with like I was saying, the first record that we put out was "People Want Music," and it was a hit. But a lot of times when you are an artist, you don't know that you have a hit right away because you're so busy doing so many things until you actually look at the charts. And I'll give you a perfect example. When one of our biggest hit songs was "Somebody's Gotta Win, Somebody's Gotta Lose." But we were in Vegas for three months. So on the East Coast, it was a hit before it was a hit on the West Coast. We didn't even know it. We just drove. When we got back home, the entire neighborhood was up, and Mom cooking dinner for us at 3 o'clock in the morning. We knew we had a hit. We knew we had a hit record. And then from there, just started climbing and climbing. We were always on the charts. Matter of fact, we have over 18 charted hit records. Wow. To our credit, 5 gold albums. And once again, a lot of people don't know all of these things about us because I guess at home, as they say, you never going to shine at home. You're still just going to be you. As you know, you're a Super Bowl recipient, I'm sure.
Oh my God, don't even go there, man.
Home still is going to be home. Yeah, you know.
Listen, you got plenty of time to stay around?
Oh yeah, man.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from a word from our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Here at the Charter International Dateline facility, scientists have 1 foot in today and 1 foot literally in tomorrow to bring Charter customers the latest thing. Oh, it's Casual Friday over here. Like switching your phone service from AT&T, Verizon, or CenturyLink, Charter guarantees to cut your phone bill in half. Speaking of cutting things in half, where's the rest of those pants?
Thank you so much.
What is it that makes us different here?
Do you know how to do number 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Say it. Who?
Sweet friend bringing me a castle.
Maybe it's knowing when to help. Check one of the Project Share boxes on your power bill and help someone who really needs it.
let's welcome four super talented young men from Birmingham, Alabama, as they join us to do their latest single on the MCA label. The song is entitled Stay, and they are the Controllers.
And we're back with world famous member of the Controllers, Lenard Brown, and also star of Inside the Juke Joint.
Right.
Buddy, I tell you what, we had a passing last week with Don Cornelius of Soul Train.
Right.
And I was Googling Don Cornelius and happened to see a video of the Controllers. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Oh man, it was. I would say it was one of the most thrilling and frightening things at the same time. Because Don Cornelius is like real. The way he comes off on air is, is real cool, and you never thought that he would be a friend of yours. But after maybe the third time of being on the show, because the very first time we was on the show, he said, "I want y'all to have a good time, but don't have too good a time on my show."
Now, what did he mean by that?
We don't know. We were just
Y'all were just so good.
We were just so glad to be there and so frightened, scared to be there at the same time, because naturally being from Fairfield and to have a dream, because the very first time I saw Soul Train, I was sacking groceries as a youngster in a grocery store. And I took the groceries in somebody's house and I saw. Ironically, it was my friend Eddie Kendricks. It was the first time I saw Soul Train. The first somebody I saw was Eddie Kendricks, and that made me know that I was going to be. I said to myself, I'm going to be on that show one day. I knew it in my heart I was going to be on that show one day. But to get to Don was such a nice guy, man, and he was a hard worker, because a lot of people didn't know. Like if you saw us today, if we went to tape Soul Train today, it was 10 other people there. Mm-hmm. So he was doing 4 and 5 shows a day. And he would have all these people there and all these different folks there, and this was one hard-working man, and I mean, how he remembered how he did everything, remembered everything he had to. I don't know how he did it, but he was a very, very pleasant cat.
Now, when you guys got to the show, and I'm seeing your choreography for the first time.
Right.
And it looks like you guys were looking at Don versus doing your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, was that, like you were excited about being on the show, or you're intimidated by Don? I mean, what was the feeling? What was going on that day?
Of course we're intimidated by Don. Don is a very tall guy, but we discovered we were just as tall as he is.
Okay.
And was, however you want to put that. But he was, the thing was, we had a twofold situation. A lot of people don't know that the stage at Soul Train is put together in parts. Okay. So it's not just one flat stage. So in some situations you're jumping over maybe just a small rift that's this high, and you sliding like we do. You slide, you hit that thing, you don't want to fall on Soul Train. But it was, the way he treated us and just the way he did, man. And even if we made mistakes, we would stop and fix it. And it just made us look good as all get out, because our numbers just flew through the roof after we were on Soul Train, man. And
I think
that's
what you have to do. I mean, people have to realize that marketing and promotion in the industry is what you got to do.
It's everything, man. It's everything.
We have a lot of groups out there today that fall short on production.
Right.
And their vocal talent is not like it used to be.
Right.
When they had guys like you,
Marvin Gaye,
Aretha Franklin, and all these people. So you've got to market yourself into a good position. But with that said, Inside the Juke Joint is I can't begin to tell you how excited I am every Saturday morning to get up and listen to that show, because I get to hear the real music, the way it was meant to be heard and made from back in the day on up to today.
That's exactly right.
You know, so who do you got coming up on the show? And tell us a little bit about the show.
Well, I think this coming week we have Bobby Womack on the show.
I'm there. I'm there.
And then after that, I think we're going to have Marlon as well as his father, Joe Jackson, on the show. We've had everybody in the industry on the show, man, and I mean it's just an unreal thing. We believe that it's just God is with us on this to give us this much favor with people for them to actually tell us the things that they do about themselves, their family, and their music, and to actually talk to, so to speak, for a better word, the horse itself, to get it from the horse's mouth, is a thrill to us as well. It's not, because we've been out there performing with these guys, but we've never just sit down and talk to them the way we're doing, and we see the love from them to us, from us to them, and then the stories that we learn from them surprises us as much as it surprises the audience.
Well, you're definitely right about that, because we got a whole new generation growing up that's used to sampling the music.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So you guys are giving an informational view.
Right. Exactly.
A concise informational view, I should say, of what the music industry is like and what is it going to take to get to the next level.
Exactly. Exactly. And a lot of times we like to put them together. We like to actually show young people, because a lot of times young people think something's new under the sun, and it's not. So we like to put together the song that the youngsters actually sampled from, and show the youngsters how much of a song was actually sampled that they would not believe. Beyonce sampled from the Shy-Lights. You just wouldn't believe certain songs. All the way back to Tupac. Everybody sampled everything.
James Brown.
There you go.
Or George Clinton.
There you go.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we sit down and listen to some of the Controllers' music and compare it to what it's been sampled.
Exactly,
by.
it's been sampled.
That's what we should do on the show. Let's have a sample hour.
Okay, cool.
So these kids need to know, man.
Yeah.
Nobody's writing any new music that's going to stay here for 30 years like this stuff has.
But as I would say, as well as all of the other, I would say, older musicians, we thank you, youngsters, for the sampling, because the checks are cha-ching. I'm a money man, I talk about that cash, so we do appreciate you guys sampling. Keep doing what you're doing.
Speaking of which, is it difficult now to go out and collect off of samplers? I mean, I know there's guys that's going to sneak by, steal a couple of verses.
Right. It's always a difficult thing, a long process. Legal situations sometimes can be horrendous. You're going to win, but the amount of money that it takes to go after it sometimes, in some situations, you let it go. And in other situations, if guys come in with a platinum record, I'm coming for you.
Well, listen, man, I really appreciate you. And I stole something from you. You're saying about a twofer when you have a great show. You're welcome to come back at any time.
Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate that coming from you.
Hey, listen, we'll be right back after this break. When we come back, we're going to interview All-Pro Cincinnati Bengal Isaac Curtis.
Waiting for something to amaze me. That's when it happened, right in front of me.
You haven't seen it until you've seen it in Charter HD. Call now to add Charter HD for only $5 more a month and watch all your favorite programs in HD. Charter, let it all in.
Welcome back to Cooking with the Pros. Today I have the honor and the pleasure of interviewing one of my oldest and dearest friends and teammates, Mr. Isaac Curtis, All-Pro Cincinnati Bengal. Isaac, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, Gary. I'm doing well. Just kind of enjoying myself. I'm out west today, out in California, and just enjoying the day.
Well, that's what you got to do, my friend. Let's jump right into it. Last night's game, the biggest game in the history of the National Football League. How do you feel about the game last night?
Well, I'll tell you what, going into the game, when asked what my opinion was of the game, I kind of was favoring New York. And one reason is because I kind of thought that they really had a lot of momentum going into the playoffs, and had been playing well. And I thought that they had a defense that could probably hold New England's offense in check a little bit. And their offense, I thought they would be able to move the ball and limit Brady's opportunities on the field and limit his time. So I thought it was a good game. I kind of expected it to at least thought it could go that way, you know.
Well, you know, and I agree with you. And it's like this, you know, I hear people talking about Brady got outplayed and this guy. Nobody got outplayed. You know, you had the two best teams in the NFL, and there's 30 other teams that were sitting at home watching them. Without a couple of mistakes, the game might have been a different game. But the bottom line is, Tom Brady kept them in the game until the last second of the game, and those are the kind of games you want to see.
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was a very good game, and you're right. You know, sometimes the quarterbacks want to get too much credit when they win, and you know, not enough. You know, when they can get too much when they lose. But you know, I think you're right. We had the two best teams playing yesterday, and it was a very competitive game. It was a close game. It could have went either way. You know, and as you know, it's just one or two plays sometimes during the course of the game could make all the difference make the difference in the outcome of the game. But I thought it was a good game and a very competitive game, and it did come down to the end.
Well, I tell you, if you look back on it, and this is a question I want to ask, the Isaac Curtis rule. Have you ever thought about how many? And I want you to explain what the Isaac Curtis rule is to some of our listeners. But have you ever thought about how that's changed the game of football in the National Football League when they changed the rule on the way they had to defend you?
Well, I think it has changed. It's certainly changed the game. It's made it a more wide open, more of a passing league, passing game. I think it opened it up, made it more. I guess probably to say made it better for the fans and spectators. But what they called, the Isaac Curtis rule, the reason why, I guess when I first came in the league and in '73. You could really take out a receiver. You could actually, from the line of scrimmage or even down the field, you can actually cut a receiver cut his legs from under him. We played Miami in the playoffs my rookie year, and Essex Johnson got hurt the first play of the game. And basically, what they wanted to do was just take me out of the play game. So a corner would roll up, a linebacker would come and just cut you. Or a corner could roll up to cut you, or you could be running across pattern, and as long as the ball wasn't in the air, they can just take your head off, And so you really had to battle to get out of there. And I think that the NFL looked at that, the Rules Committee looked at that, and just thought that we wanted to open the game up a little bit, and I think that's how the rule came about. And it certainly made it. I tell you what, it made it a lot easier. on wide receivers, and I think that's why you see so many catches that the wide receivers have these days, and it's such a wide open game offensively. Especially the passing game, and guys are catching now 100 balls, 90 balls. I think when I first came in the league, if you got 45, 50 balls, you were having a very good year. Now your third receivers are catching that many balls. So it certainly opened up the passing game a lot more, and it's made it a lot easier for receivers to get downfield. And it's like I say, when you can't touch a receiver after 5 yards, and some of the talent that these guys have and size that these guys have, it makes it very difficult for defensive backs to cover these guys. So it certainly opened the game up.
Well, I tell you why I thought about that. I was listening to Chris, another one of our former teammates, Chris Collinsworth, was talking about that he was scared to go over the middle back in the day. And that when I thought about it, I'm saying, okay, with the Isaac Curtis rule and going over the middle, I start really thinking about what you guys went through to catch a ball. And to catch 50 to 90 balls, man, back in that time was ridiculous. I mean, it was hard to do.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I mean, you know, it's like I say, you really had to battle. I mean, you know, when we played Pittsburgh, and you got quarterbacks like Mel Blount, who was just a big quarterback. I mean, defensive back. He was almost like an outside linebacker playing a quarterback. That was a great defensive back. Or you get a lot of the safeties and linebackers. I mean, if you were beyond, you'd have to battle. And like I say, they could actually just knock you off your feet, you know, hit you, cut you. As long as that ball was not in the air, you were free game, you know. And so, it was much more difficult to get downfield and to get open. So, like I say, it really did open the game up. It made it much more pass-friendly game.
Well, yeah.
Put a lot of pressure on defensive backs.
No doubt.
And to really kind of, slow receivers down and get the timing between receivers and quarterbacks, inside that 5-yard bump zone that they do have.
Well, Ike, with all the honors and accomplishments that you made in the NFL, what stands out the most for you?
Oh, I think that our 81 season as a team, I thought it was an excellent team. We had a bunch of great guys on that team. As you know, a lot of us were all still close, and we still communicate and stay in touch with each other. And we had it was a great season. We went to the Super Bowl that year. The AFC Championship game, where we beat San Diego at 59 below zero, which was still the coldest game in the history of the NFL. But that opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and to be there, like I say, we did not win it. I think it's every NFL player's dream is to have that opportunity to be there as well. And I think, and probably my rookie year, I thought, I was voted by the NFL Players Association the Offensive Rookie of the Year as well that year, and that's really that was, to me, was a really great accomplishment, because that one is actually was voted by the players themselves. So I think those were kind of a couple of highlights, but the biggest really was I think was a year that we went to the Super Bowl. It was just a great season and a fun year, and like I say, that was our goal. We started out, and we had an opportunity to get there, and like I say, we fell short, but it was a wonderful experience, and so I know that with the excitement and what it meant for these two, the New York and New England, to have the opportunity, or any team that's gone to the Super Bowl. I think it's very exciting, and it's everybody's goal.
Well, I tell you what, I agree with you 100%. That was one of the experiences in my life that I will never forget. Other than the birth of my children, I can't imagine anything else that was as exciting, that was as memorable as playing in a Super Bowl. And the team members, like you said, I mean, we had some great guys that went on, the Hall of Famers, the great relationships that we've cultivated over the years with those guys. And we still can pick up the phone or Facebook or whatever and still be in touch with those same guys. So that was a heartwarming, great experience for me. So what's next for you, Ike? You're retired now. You're out in California. You're back in Cincinnati.
I'm semi-retired. I'm still doing a little consulting for Weingartner Hammonds, which is a hotel management company. That's the corporate office is based out of Cincinnati. That we operate about 30 hotels around the country. So that's still keeping me busy and keeping me busy and engaged. And I think you have to have something to do every day. I don't think I'd ever totally retire. I think you got to have a reason to get up and move and be engaged in something. And of course, I'm also involved with the Curtis Breeden Foundation, which is a charity event, a foundation that we have where we work with kids in Cincinnati, and raise money for scholarships for kids that have the grades but just need some financial assistance, and just give them that extra help, and we give to other charitable organizations, all directed to helping at-risk kids.
Well, man, I tell you what, I don't know how you do it because I've been knowing you for 30 years and you've been doing the same thing for the community, the same thing for your families. I mean, you're just a great guy. And listen, we're going to go to break right now, Ike, but hang on for just 1 second and I want to talk to you. Okay, everybody, when we get back, we're going to interview All-Pro Pete Johnson.
Thank you so much.
What is it that makes us different here?
Do you know how to do number 13?
Yes, ma'am.
Say it. Who?
Sweet friend bringing me a castle.
Maybe it's knowing when to help. Check one of the Project Share boxes on your power bill and help someone who really needs it.
Here at the Charter International Dateline facility, scientists have 1 foot in today and 1 foot literally in tomorrow to bring Charter customers the latest thing. Oh, it's Casual Friday over here. Like switching your phone service from AT&T, Verizon, or CenturyLink, Charter guarantees to cut your phone bill in half. Speaking of cutting things in half, where's the rest of those pants?
Hi, welcome back to Cooking with the Pros. For everybody to watch the game last night, you got an opportunity to see the 2 best teams in the National Football League play. And I say that because 30 other teams in the National Football League were home with us watching. But I've got a gentleman on the other line, an old friend of mine, former teammate, that played in the Super Bowls, that was an All-Pro, and also played in the same backfield as two-time Heisman Trophy winner Isaac Curtis, Pete Johnson. Pete, what's happening, my friend?
Not bad, Gary. How you doing?
Hey, man, every day above ground is a good day.
God bless you.
Well, listen, let's just get right into it.